Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll Legacy video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Jeremy, I'm playing what I want to play. He gave me a dealer's choice, and I've been meaning to update Sharkstill. This is a deck, obviously, that the channel's kind of known for. It will be on the BoshNRoll Signature Decks playlist for sure. It's a deck that I made top 8 of the Star City 5K, 10K, I forget how many Ks we were playing for in Baltimore a couple weeks ago. That list is posted, and I played it at a local event since then, and I've got some more thoughts. Basically, the list that I was playing in Baltimore had 3 Urza Sagas, which I found was too many, and it was the worst thing the deck was doing. With Timeless Dragon, Shark Typhoon, and Currency Converter, you just don't need to make constructs anymore. There's so much going on under Standstill that it just doesn't matter. The other thing that I noticed is this deck is incredibly mana hungry. Like, you're trying to get up to Shark Typhoon, you're trying to cast your spells, you're trying to hold up interaction, you're trying to activate Currency Converter, and a land that asks you to sink 3 mana into it for 2 turn cycles to get your 2 constructs and then dies can be really awkward. I found myself in a lot of positions where I had to ponder to find my 3rd land drop on turn 3, which meant that I didn't have 2 mana to activate my Saga with if that was my 2nd land drop, and it just opened me up to Wasteland in a lot of ways I didn't like. I had color problems because there were a lot of colorless lands in the deck. There were 5 colorless lands in the deck instead of the 2 I have now. Saga was just not doing its job. Another thing I noticed that was really interesting is people don't wait on Standstill anymore because the things, like I said, the things you're doing under Standstill are so strong that this isn't the olden days where they could just wait 20 turns and play out their wastelands to answer your Mishra's Factories because that was your win condition, and then they had to worry about 1 Decree of Justice somewhere in the 75. This hits hard and fast, and Standstill is just pay 2, draw 3 cards on almost every board state. Every time I've cast this card lately, my opponent's like, well, that sucks. Cast Dragon's Rage Channeler, draw 3 cards immediately. They just take their medicine, give you the 3 cards, because they know they can't actually outgrind you in any reasonable kind of way. So you don't need something like Saga that doesn't really work with the rest of the deck, specifically to function under Standstill, because nobody's trying to function under Standstill anymore. They're just trying to jam and outmuscle you. And when you're committed to either having a colorless land that dies or sinking your mana into non-flying blockers of various sizes, which also turns on creature removal, which is normally not great against this deck, Saga just pulls you in a lot of directions you don't want to go. The local tournament I played after Baltimore, I was down to 2 Saga, and I added Plateau over the Saga that I cut. There were multiple times in Baltimore that I wished that I had both another red source, and I wish Timeless Dragon could get red, and Plateau does both of those things. We're going to talk about how this might step on my other innovation in a second here, but I did like the Plateau a lot at my local event, and at that event, I also ran into mana problems with my Urza Sagas when I drew them. Even though I was down to 2 in the deck, it was still a problem. And then later that week, I had a coaching session with someone who wanted to talk about Standstill. It was pretty great. We dug into it, and that person was playing actual factual Counterspell, blue counter target spell in their deck, and that's not a card you can ever put in your deck if you have 5 colorless lands. And even now, like I mentioned, this is the thing that Plateau might be stepping on. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands in the deck that don't cast Counterspell, but there are also 7 lands that do. and you can prioritize your fetching appropriately for the matchups. I'm going to try actual Counterspell over any amount of Saga package. There's no Urza Saga in this deck. There's no Soul Guide Lantern. I'm still playing Currency Converter as a 2-of, because you can just draw this card, cast it, and it's going to be great. Not being able to tutor it up, we'll see how much that affects the card's role in the deck, but honestly, a 1-mana spell in your deck full of cantrips and draw 3s, I think you're going to find it and it's going to cash out often enough. That's the big experiment here. Can we cast Counterspell reliably, and can we draw and cast Currency Converter in a way that's impactful reliably? And those are my two big innovations for this take on the deck. Counterspell is also great because the counterspells in the deck are Force and Force of Will and Negation, respectively. And then in the sideboard, we get some red and blue blasts. But in the main deck, Murktide Regent, you don't want to Force of Will like anything out of Delver, but you kind of have to because you only have the 4 plows to really deal with the big stuff. But Counterspell just covers that gap so well. Those 1-for-1, take your spell, put it in the graveyard is great. And Counterspell makes it so you don't have to play the shell game of, are they on Maddening Hex or are they on Court of Cunning? You don't have to guess if they have red or blue blast. You don't have to line it up correctly. Counterspell just gets Murktide Regent, it gets Maddening Hex, it gets Court of Cunning, gets Delver, gets Expressive Iteration. It's counter target spell, and those are all spells. If this works out in theory, I'm into it. Also, I got kind of slapped around pretty hard at that local event by Minsc and Boo and Maddening Hex, which had not existed on Magic Online, but they do now. So I'm excited to line this up. My previous list had 1 Blue Elemental Blast, which was great against the Hex and Minsc stuff, but I added a second because those cards are serious problems for this deck, and they're hot and they're new and everyone's talking about them. So I want extra protection, plus the Counterspell overlaying on top of that, because the decks that have Minsc and Boo and Maddening Hex are not decks you want Force of Will in your deck post-board, and just relying on having the correct blast up at the correct time is a big ask, but Counterspell just covers that gap really well. This is all theory crafted. I've played 0 games with Counterspell in the deck this year. Obviously, I've played Counterspell in Standstill before in my life. This isn't brand new, but it's not something I've done in the recent era, and I am excited to try it out. So this is going to be Saga-less. Oh, I also just realized there's 16 cards in my sideboard. Magic Online is not going to let me submit this. I added the second Blue Blast, but didn't actually cut anything. But that raises an interesting question of, do we need 2 Blue Blasts now that Counterspell's in the deck? Like, I added Blue Blast out of respect for Minsc and Hex, but I guess removing them from play is a really important modality here. I could cut one of the sweepers. I don't want to mess with my Graveyard Hate because I don't have Soul Guide Lantern in the main deck anymore. I'm going to need Graveyard Hate out of the sideboard if we're going to beat those decks. So I want the Cage and my Surgicals to stay. I think Containment Priest is important in the same sort of way. I think I would cut a Deafening Silence in real life, but in the Moto Leagues, combo is king, so maybe Deafening Silence is pretty important. I have sweepers of Kozilek's Return and Supreme Verdict. I added the Kozilek's Return after Baltimore. I only had Verdict for sweepers in my deck in Baltimore, and I wanted another one. I played against Elves, and it was really scary not having 2 ways to deal with their go wide. So I like the Return as well. And then it has text against other matchups like Death and Taxes and stuff, all those creature matchups. I think I'm going to cut a Wear Tear for the Magic Online metagame. I like Wear Tear a lot in paper where 8-cast is more popular, but I haven't seen a lot of that deck online lately. Wear Tear is really good against Red Prison, which is another reason I added it to the deck, but we're also +1 Hydroblast, so I think we're moving in the right direction here. Okay, I'm just looking at the Priest one more time. We have 2 sweepers now against Elves to back up all of the spot removal that's already in the main deck. It's kind of slow against Reanimator, kind of slow against Oops, but it's also just more. It's not always about speed, it's just about more and the ability to shut the door against those decks. And we're just ice cold to show and tell because we're just naturally bad against that deck. But I think I just talked myself into it. I know Red Prison just did extremely well in the the PTQ this past weekend, so I'm going up 2 wear tears. I really hate getting smeared by Chalice of the Void in 2022. There's so many tools that there's no reason to just die as a blue deck to Chalice anymore. So I'm gonna have the 2 wear tears. There's a bonus 3 minutes of content of me figuring out my last sideboard slot, but that's how Legacy works sometimes. Okay, now let's go play this league. This is my updated experiment, Counterspell experiment in Sharkstill for Patreon subscriber Jeremy. Let's do it. I am on the play for round number 1. I'm going to keep this hand. I have force blue card to be alive. Caracas also helps be alive. I also have blue for Counterspell if we end up in that zone. And all of that buys time to get me to this Wandering Emperor. Let's see what we got. A Flooded Strand strategy. They said in the chat they're a big fan of the channel, and I believe it now. Did not shuffle. Oh, Underground Sea. I've been lied to. Okay, I got some options here. I can cheese Wasteland and hope it works. I could hold up Counterspell. And I can now Counterspell and force blue card. I'm not gonna cheese Wasteland then die to Dark Ritual with 2 counterspells in my hand. Oh, Sunken Ruins. Yeah, this Wasteland would have been nutso. Probably gonna Counterspell a Hymn to Tarok here. Oh, Sleight of Hand. Alright, I don't know what's going on right now. This is definitely some sort of combo deck. Probably Doomsday if they want this much black and blue mana. I don't know, but I'm very excited to Wasteland this Underground Sea now. Top bottom the Serum Visions. Or maybe I just jam Narset now. Oh, if I Wasteland, I can cycle Timeless Dragon and spend all my mana. I kind of like this. If this is a Doomsday deck, they're going to want 3 mana eventually. I think if I didn't draw Timeless Dragon, I would have played Narset. Oh, please don't be a Stifle deck. Okay, that just immediately resolved. Gonna get an island and then cycle into a Plains. Is a deck with Sleight of Hand and Serum Visions gonna have Wasteland in it? Oh, and Sunken Ruins. I don't know. Seems suspicious. I'll get a Tundra. Let's go. That Ponder's interesting. I could Ponder and then pass with Force Blue card up again. I just want to do that. Maybe I'm being a coward about this Narset, but I don't want to just lose for no reason. Ooh, Currency Converter. We like that. I'm going to put the Force of Will in my hand. Currency Converter on top. And now this game is starting to inch forward in a way that I'm pretty happy with. Sunken Hollow. At this point, based on the cards we've seen, I'm surprised Lutri wasn't revealed as a commander. Like, genuinely. I was like, oh, this is a Lutri deck, but it's not. It's a Tainted Pact deck. That's what's happening. This is a Pact combo deck. Ha 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 ha! Read the room, kids. Is this bait? I mean, you can only play 2 of these, and it's pretty important. I don't know, Counterspell. Alright, yeah. I figured that was a value pact, probably looking for a land drop, and then they did, in fact, miss the land drop. So, count that. Our set, let's party. That does mean they have 7 spells in hand, though. Or is it just resolved? Terrifying. Right, activate that. Prismatic Ending is the only option here. And I'm going to drop Currency Converter. Now let's pull ahead. Ooh, had the land. Or found the land. We know they didn't have it. Spell Seeker. That can get the other Tainted Pact. They can only have 1 Force of Will in their deck. Alright, I'm going to let this resolve and just try to let Narset and the Force squeeze, because I have this Prismatic Ending. There's the other Tainted Pact. That was the only thing it could be. Now I have this slightly awkward decision to make. If Narset spikes a Shark Typhoon, I'm just in easy mode, but if I miss, Spellseeker can hit Narset. I'm going to try it. We got Teferi, Force of Negation, and Plow. I think I just want Plow. Weird as that is. In Teferi, I don't really want to bounce Spellseeker and give them another round with it, but it also does block this game pretty hard with the Force. Force of Negation lets me hardcast Force of Negation and then also pitchcast Force of Will. Maybe I do want Teferi. Weird. Alright. I am going to take Teferi after all. After all of that waffling. That's what I'm doing. I am going to play my land first. There's another counterspell in my deck somewhere. Go ahead, enjoy your value. Starting next turn, I don't care anymore because I can loot a prismatic ending under the converter, and then it can be a rogue to block the Spellseeker, and it's already tutored up the Pact. And now they can't look for Counterspell because Teferi's in play. Go ahead. Knowing that they can only have one copy of most cards in their deck, they can have 2 Tainted Packs, and do they get 2 Oracles? Is that how this works? Everything else is a 1-of. By the way, if you're interested in what they're doing, I do have a Tainted Pact combo deck on the channel somewhere. Just Google or use the search bar, BoshNRoll Tainted Pact. It'll come up. The benefit of doing random bullshit every day of my life is that I can identify when they fetch Sunken Ruins that exactly what they're doing with their deck. Oh, decided to concede. I guess they've had enough and realized that they're too far behind. Cool. And I agree with that assessment. Even though they can't see my hand, they are correct. Okay, all the red blast coming in, that gets Oracle, it gets Spellseeker, it gets the cantrips, gets their interaction, all good stuff to get. Wasteland was pretty solid that game. I don't know if we can count on that with any sort of regularity. Prismatic ending actually seems pretty bad, though Plow is probably worse. Their deck's going to have like Baleful Strix, Snapcaster Mage. They're going to have like one of everything in blue-black that you'd want to play in a legacy deck. Is ending better than those things? Because they'll probably have Narset as well, so I want to respect Planeswalkers a little bit. But I'm also loading up on Red Blast, which answers all of the things I just said. So I'm just like side grading or upgrading answers. I'm not really cutting any answers. I could have Surgical for put the Pact in the graveyard if they have to value Pact again, but that's not usually how this deck plays out. I could also cut another Plow or Ending and just go up a land. I don't want to cut the Wasteland, but I might actually just want to be plus Mountain. Just hitting my land drops and making sure I can interact is a thing I like to do a lot in Blue Mirrors. Yeah, I'll cut a Prismatic Ending. I'll split 2 Ending, 2 Plow, and then 3 Red Blasts in between, plus going up 1 land. This makes sense. Let's try it. Okay, we got another Counterspell start. I'll keep it a little slower. Well, that's how the draw works. Yeah, the combo, I guess I didn't explain it, is you cast Thassa's Oracle, then in response to its trigger, you exile your whole deck with Tainted Pact, because every card in your deck has a different name. You can just go forever on Pact. This deck probably can't play back to basics, because they can only have 4 basics in their whole deck, between Swamp, Snow Swamp, Island, Snow Island. Yeah, I'll just get set up with Tundra here. They can only have 1 Wasteland too, and they're a combo deck that requires multiple... they need 4 mana in play to go off, so I'm going to keep my Wasteland. I'd Brainstorm on top. Legacy Drown Catacomb action. Fair enough. Hermit is a good one. I can Brainstorm now. No, I don't want to draw that land that's under... I guess if I find a Plow now, it's pretty good. I didn't really plan this out. I was kind of hoping to Wasteland them this turn, but also don't want to draw the land that's under what I'm doing here. Right, I'm going to play my land and pass. This holds up Counterspell. Like if they have the mana, they can Hermit my Counterspell, but they're a 4 mana combo, like I said. Right, I'm going to counter this, and if they spend Hermit on this, that's actually a good deal. I'm going to get Volcanic Island, because I can tutor up more white, no problem. And I have white and red in my hand already. As long as it's blue, it's fine. Alright, cool. We got the Hermit out of the mix. Not a lot of great takes here, unless they also have Surgical Extraction. Like, if they take Brainstorm and then Surgical Brainstorm, that's annoying. But I don't really expect Surgical to be in their deck, and if it is, they only get 1 copy. Shark Typhoon's a good one. Oh, you missed your land drop? I'm sorry to hear that. Wasteland. I only play 1 of those, by the way. Sorry, opponent, when you watch this video later. Alright, now they're passing the turn without lands. Tough stuff. Get a Tundra here. Just make sure my mana's perfect. It's my only real goal. I would like to brainstorm before making my land drop, but I also don't want to give them Flusterstorm or Spell Pierce in easy mode right now. So I'm just not going to cast any spells. I'm going to cycle Shark Typhoon for 1 and then make Timeless Dragon and then just beat them down without casting any more spells. Holding up Force of Will. Here's a Shark. Timeless Emperor. Not bad. Okay, I can go into Dragon mode this turn, and then next turn I can Brainstorm with a fetch land around, or I could just simply hold up Hardcast Force of Will and cast Wandering Emperor if they don't do anything. But I am putting my foot on the gas. I'm pretty confident in what their deck's capable of with the resources they have, and it's not much. Because they could have like Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, present the combo, and then they'd also need their 1-0 Force of Will to punch it through. Step through. All right, cycling Step Through gets the Oracle. They're trying to get set up over there. I respect it. I've decided I am going to Brainstorm here. This is, like, if I can get some Pyroblast action or just some other cheap interaction going on, that would be great. That is not what happened, and I lost my blue card for Force. Here comes the squad. They missed several land drops, so they would have to have a land drop and Lotus Petal to punch the Oracle through with the Pact. They need a lot to go right here. But my shields are down if they do. I have 1 loot with Currency Converter. Okay, they just suspended Profane Tutor. The game's going to be over way before that matters. Fetch an island and convert some currency. I'm not going to need 2 Wandering Emperors this game, but I might want that Swords to Plowshares. We'll see. Okay, blue card. Happy to see that. They are dead on board. I have Force of Will, blue card in hand. This Profane Tutor is not going to come off suspend before the game is over. And we got the GGs in the chat. Sometimes having 1 Wasteland in your deck is pretty powerful, especially against, like, as a deck that doesn't normally contain Wasteland in Jeskai control. You can sometimes just clip people. I like the discipline of waiting on the Wasteland. I mean, knowing now that it would have just cheesed the whole game and they wouldn't have even been able to, like, Thoughtseize or whatever is pretty sick. But I do like the discipline of holding up the Counterspell, and Counterspell was good. Sample size of 2 games, Counterspell's already shown up twice. Let's go. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder. You know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there. On the play for round 2, I got, lands and spells. Let's party. I'm in. This hand is soft to combo. I have the YOLO Brainstorm looking for Force of Will if there's an emergency, but I'm just gonna Island go here. Opponent's on a mull to 6 with a Scalding Tarn go. Fair enough. Blood is Strand representing Counterspell. Get wrecked, nerd. Legacy staple, Counterspell, apparently. I am going to Brainstorm now. My hand is kind of the suck, and I would like to change the level of suck in my hand to a smaller number. Okay, you don't need this Plains. All of Heliod is kinda gas. Prismatic Ending and Plow. This is feeling like a control deck. I'm going to get rid of the Plow and fetch on my upkeep. I'm going to get Plains, draw for turn. Currency Converty. I'll slide that one in before the standstill here. Might be putting the shields down here, but I really like tapping into Standstill when I can, just early and often this thing. It's the whole plan. Don't like that I just played it into Daze now that I see this Volcanic Island, but they weren't playing the game like they're Delver. Just fetch land go twice. This feels more like a control deck, or maybe like one of the bigger, slower builds of Delver. Force pitching Expressive Iteration. All right, yeah, so they're a slower build if they're Delver at all, but this feels more like a control deck. Pick Grixis or Jeskai. And Standstill was good for 2 cards, just stupid my opponent for 2 mana. This is the kind of thing that this deck is good at. Like Standstill, that's what I was talking about in the deck tech, where Standstill is going to get forced, Pyroblast, or they're immediately going to let you draw 3 cards because nobody can play through it anymore. And this is why I kept the Hall around, because I can just re-Standstill. Oh, we're doing this. All right, it's check pile. Okay. Got me good on that prismatic ending. Ooh, okay. Hall of Heliod and Teferi coming in. Another force. Pitching Snapcaster. That's like a 3-for-1. Let's go. Okay, please don't jam Jace the Mind Sculptor right now. Expressive Iteration. Okay. Let's see what they come up with. My plan is to rebuy Standstill in my upkeep, draw it, and then play it. Force of Will in the Exile Zone. I like that it's there and not in their hand. Standstill, let's go. Get on top of the deck, please. And I'm going to fetch. Do I want to keep rolling up on islands? Because if I find Timeless Dragon... Yeah, I just want to keep getting islands. Cool. All right. This is the mid game. This is what you grind towards. We got a Force of Will on Standstill. We got a Force Will on Teferi. That's 2 cards, 2 cards. And now we have a repeatable source of 3 cards. And they just have to like cast spells into it. All right, come on, blue card. All right, cool. And Jace is a very good card to present here, but the last cards in their hand have to be Force blue card, and even then, like Standstill plus Shark Typhoon is pretty good pressure on Jace. All right, it was Force blue card. This is the only universe where they're still playing the game, and they found it. But I can still... I think I still want to Standstill here. Yeah, I have a land drop to make. They get to do stuff under Jace, but I'm not going to keep up with Jace any other way, and the Shark isn't lethal here. They have certainly made this an interesting game, having 3 Force of Wills in their top 18 cards. They hardened themselves with Jace's plus. That makes sense. That was a good play. I'm going to pass the turn and then make a big Shark in the end step. Start pressuring Jace wherever I can. Fate sealing me. Okay, in the end step, it's Shark time. 4/4 Shark. And the Sharks plus the Hall, like working together, should put some real work in on this Jace. I have a 1/1 Shark to back up this 4/4 Shark. Back Jace. See if they want to spend a removal spell. Let me draw 3 cards or just take the beats. I took the beats. Jace can bounce this, then I make a 1/1 Shark, put Jace to 1, and then I'm drawing 2 cards a turn and they're not. Snapcaster Mage. I draw my cards. What's in the graveyard that you would even cast here? Brainstorm? Okay. Alright. Snapcaster resolves. Targeting Brainstorm. You got it. There's a lot of brainstorming already happening, so this is pretty exciting. This is like slam, bam, blue versus blue. Both of us have our engines online. I'm pretty excited about this. Can't take Shark Typhoon. This probably just takes Narset. Alright, go ahead. Have a look. I'm not going to tangle with Snapcaster Mage, waste a plow on that. I just don't think that's important right now. They've had Jason play for 4 turns, and I have 7 cards in hand to their 3. That's the power of Standstill. And we're still probably in trouble if they just like Prismatic Ending plus Jace and, you know, whatever. They're kind of out of the squeeze right now, but I got stuff to do. Don't doubt me. Took the Narset. That is the thing I thought they would take. Play a second Jace. A Teferi. Teferi's pretty good It can bounce Snapcaster Mage. That's like pretty dynamic. I'm just going to let this happen and use Shark Typhoon to finish off the Teferi. Now I'm slightly distracted because I have to deal with Teferi before I can mess around with Jace. Jace might even bounce Snapcaster here. I don't know what they want to do with their life. Jace is brainstorming, sure. Already major land drop. Another Inquisition, sure. Took my Ponder, that's fine. I'm not drawing any cards that aren't Standstill anyway. Cycle Shark Typhoon. Take the 1/1. This can pick off Teferi. There's one Force of Will left in your deck. Do you have it? I'm going to put Standstill on top of my deck. Draw for turn. Back to Teferi. To deal with that first. And Swords to Plowshares, the Snapcaster, and then Standstill. Okay, engine's back online. Shark Typhoon in my graveyard. Sucks I haven't found a land in a minute here. I really want to get my sharks bigger than 1/1. Just pondering into Standstill. There's that thing again I keep talking about where people just can't play around Standstill anymore. Just draw 3 cards forever. Baleful Strix, pretty good. I have a plow for that. Another Strix. I got options here. Ponder, okay. My Wasteland is just going to be a land. I'm not going to waste this opponent who already has all this mana in play. And I am going to recur Standstill. Put that back on top. Still interested. Swords to Plowshares, or do I want a Prismatic Ending one of these? And I can get a Ponder off in between. Or I could just back up, Standstill with Counterspell. I think I want to get Ponder off in between here. I can find like a better land or a threat. That was both. Okay. I have land and threat here. Don't shuffle. Play Wasteland. Swords to Plowshare is one of the Strixes. Then Standstill. And I am going to attack Jace. Want to make this trade, or at least offer the trade. I don't want to give them full reign of making decisions of do they just minus the shark? Do I sit behind Baleful Strix forever? Right, taking a loyalty off Jace feels good. Timeless Dragon lines up really poorly against Jace. So maybe I do need Shark Typhoon this turn. Get a Jace Brainstorm and immediately casting a spell. Tim to Turok, it's going to resolve. Hit my Standstill, my replacement Standstill, and one of my 2 Wandering Emperors. I got to keep my land and my Timeless Dragon, both of which are nice, though. Losing the backup Standstill is rough, though, because it would have been nice to just not have to commit Haul for a turn and just Standstill from hand. Volcanic Island, more mana. Another Teferi, bummer. Alright, yep, Teferi remains very good. There's another Shark. And now I have the tough choice of do I want to give them a single turn without Standstill in play? How much mana do I have? It would cost me 1, 2, 3. Then I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could put Wandering Emperor into play and play Standstill. Or no, I have to play the Standstill too. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I only have 3 mana left at the end of all that. I could Prismatic Ending to Teferi. Okay. Put Standstill on top of my deck. Draw for turn. Scalding Tarn gets Volcanic Island. And then Prismatic Ending. White, red, blue. Standstill again. Relentless. They've also, like, they're 10 cards deeper into their deck than I am, despite me having drawn 3 cards off Standstill, what, 3 or 4 times in this match already. It's kind of crazy. This deck is so good at seeing cards. This Jace the Mind Sculptor with Force backup. Insane. I've also only seen 1 of my 4 forces so far. They're in there somewhere. 1 of my 5 forces, actually. And here's a spell. I'm not going to force this. And Shark Typhoon and Prismatic Ending go to the graveyard. Yikes. Alright, just beating me up. Lost the force. And that's a pretty good way to blast through. Okay, Strix has attacked me. Alright, time to do a land count. 1, 2, 3, activate. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, still 1 short. of playing Wandering Emperor this turn. I could just play Wandering Emperor with Counterspell backup and take the turn off. I don't really hate that. I mean, Snapcaster is pretty annoying. Right, I'm going to take a turn off here of Standstill, which I might regret. White, 1, 2, Wandering Emperor. Just going to exile the Baleful Strix. Now I have something going on at least. And I'm going to cycle Timeless Dragon for a Tundra, leaving up Counterspell or a Hall activation. Okay. Dangerous territory, but I'm in it. Instep Brainstorm, you got it. Also got to keep track of my clock here. I'm going to counter Snapcaster. I just want my Wandering Emperor to stick around, if that's an option. Alright, I am F6'd against a Jace. And their deck does have 4 colors. They can Prismatic Ending a Wandering Emperor, but I can't Prismatic Ending a Jace. A little bit of a squeeze here. Another Strix. Sucks, but okay. There is the option, if they get too greedy with their card draw, I could play Standstill, then cast a spell immediately and deck them, make them draw 3 cards. If they're down to 12 cards in their deck. There's no Endurance coming. I've played this deck. There's no way to recycle your graveyard. It was one of my critiques of the deck. When things get too grindy, it becomes a problem. This looks like Prismatic Ending. Okay. I was still a 2-for-1. 1, 2, rebuy Standstill. Draw Prismatic Ending the Strix. Get that off the board. And Standstill again. Alright, folks. We're back in that spot. Inquisition of Kozilek, that rules. It's going to get a currency converter. But I have Force and Shark Typhoon. Those are good cards to have. That means I can rebuy Standstill, play Standstill, and be showing Shark Typhoon all in one turn cycle without having to do the thing twice. Do you even have any lands left? I'm skeptical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I didn't think so. And we got a little scoop. Jace the Mind Sculptor was in play on turn 4. It's turn 13, and my opponent just conceded the game because they can't possibly win it. Standstill, undeniable. Let's get these Pyroblasts in here and make this easy. Jeez. Okay. Pyroblast coming in. Hydroblast hits EI and their Pyroblasts. Force of Negation is kind of an interesting one because as we saw that game, some shit like Jace the Mind Sculptor is really the only way we like that. That was only a little bit competitive because they resolved a Jace with Force backup. And if that didn't happen, that game would have been a joke. So that could be an argument to keep all my forces in, or the fact that we just easily outmuscled that Jace could be an argument to that we don't need these 2-for-1 counterspells. This deck could have Maddening Hex. I guess I should respect that with some Hydroblasts. Oh, they're also a Hymn to Turok deck. Okay. I like Currency Converter's role against Hymn to Turok decks. I'm not going to force a Hymn to Turok most of the time. Swords of Plowshare is kind of medium. Like, they do have creatures that they win with, but I got ways to clear those. I'm going to bring in one Hydroblast variant, the Blue Elemental Blast, out of potential respect for a Maddening Hex, but I do have all my endings in. Do I even want all my endings? Like, they can get Snapcaster, they can get Strix, they can get Teferi, they can't get Jace. They can get Narset, yeah, that's important. Okay. I'm going to try this version. This hand has turn 1 Currency Converter, which is actually great against their Hymn to Turok strat, but terrible against their Prismatic Ending. And if I don't draw a land, I'm in trouble, but if I do draw a land, I'm good. I'm going to try this. Don't Inquisition me. Uh-oh. Please cast Ponder. I'm mad now. Okay. I'm losing my Currency Converter, and this game just got a lot harder. But there's a lot of lands in my deck. I'm holding Timeless Dragon. They did not take the thing I was worried about. Alright, Converter, get in. I didn't draw the land. A little worried. They Hymn to Turok me here. I don't even care. Oh, yes. Alright, cool. I get a Rogue out of this deal. They must have drawn the Inquisition because it doesn't make sense to take the 2-drop, leaving me the 1-drop. if you have both spells up front. But here's a 2/2. Land please, no! Fine. Alright. We are kinda set up here if I ever find a land. Him to Turok, not really an option. Now, I suspect they didn't realize Currency Converter could play like off their discard spells. Come on, deck, you shit ass. Attacking. This trades with Snapcaster, but it was a free card anyway. I think I will try to force a Prismatic Ending if that comes my way. I was very worried about that. They've seen the force. Well, you knew about this. Imagine I'm getting Pyroblasted here. Yep. Alright. Imagine, if you will, a world where I drew a land and cycled Timeless Dragon, which made another rogue, and hit my land drop and cast Standstill and cast Narset. Oh god. Well, here's this. Please don't have Meltdown, but please cast Him to Turok. I kind of need you to. Blessing to Fairy, passing the turn. How about a land deck? Anyone at all? Thank you, my god. Sweet, merciful. Okay. I'm gonna cycle Timeless Dragon, get my next land drop, get a 2/2. I'm like pretty far behind at this point. They have like Surgical Extraction, that's annoying, but I still get the land. Dragon is successfully in exile, safe from Surgical Extractions, Evil Clutches. The Fairy is plussed right now. They could Prismatic at instant speed, but it's pretty cool that I have 2 Currency Converters, so not even super worried about that. Plateau can clear to Fairy, but it doesn't cast Narset. I think I do want access to the red, though. Fuck Narset. I have way more blue than red sources in the deck anyway. There's one. Speaking of, time to attack to Fairy. See what happens here. They can Snapcaster, they can Prismatic Ending, they can Plow. They can't Strix. Alright, that's fine. And here's the land you knew about and Standstill. Snapcaster for Red Blast and Response, sure. That's why I led on that and not the Narset, which I actually think is the more important card. Oh, this game. This game is still going to be competitive after we missed 2 land drops. Blessing to Fairy and Him in my draw step if they want to. They don't really want to Him at all, though, because it's just like a wave of creatures if they do. Probably going to bounce their own Snapcaster in the near future, if that's a play that's on their radar. I'm going to Prismatic Ending Snapcaster. I can use 2 mana to loot from one Currency Converter into the other and make a surprise rogue. I'm not just going to put Timeless Dragon face up into this Teferi on 4. I got Pyroblast in my deck. Let's do stuff. Hard cast Force of Negation from hand, sure. This is not a deck that can attack mana at all because there's no room for Wasteland in this mana base and they can't play Blood Moon, obviously. Okay, Snapcaster, bouncing your own Teferi, no surprise there. The spells in the graveyard are Prismatic Ending, Force of Negation, and Inquisition. Clearing one of these converters might make sense right now, because it's a problem. Okay, so they are clearing a converter. I'm going to loot in response. Get Tundra, and I'm going to loot with the one they're targeting. Wandering Emperor is really good. I'll discard Prismatic Ending and make sure I exile it to the converter that's not about to die. Ooh, they're fetching in response. They have like another removal spell going on here. Graveyard hate? Oh no. We'll find out together. Olagon's command. Tight. Alright. Good shit. I will discard. I think Emperor is worse than Narset, but it's close. I'm gonna keep the Narset. Okay, and I am not going to exile anything to anything. Alright, good stuff. My converters are answered. You did it. You survived the first trial of Hercules. I'm gonna put Narset into play. There she is. Activate that. Swords to Plowshares, Blue Blast, Shark Typhoon. They're probably chilling on Hymn to Tarak after all this. I'm going to take Shark Typhoon and just give you the information that my hand is functionally empty. But let's clear Teferi at least. Narset goes to 1 from the Snapcaster attack. Another Teferi. Disappointing. Plus, because you can't draw cards anyway. Baleful Strix doesn't draw a card. Timeless Dargon. Not sexy. I'm going to pass with Shark Typhoon in my hand. We're going to attack with both things, both at Narset. Going to cycle for 1, because going for 2 doesn't matter. One of them has Death Touch, the other has 2 power. Ooh, spending an actual Red Blast on that. Fascinating. Okay, deal. I guess their plan to bounce Snapcaster Mage is more important than the Red Blasts, because Snapcaster is a Red Blast anyway. Yeah, story checks out. Alright, it wasn't that crazy. I'm gonna just make a 4/4 now. Now that Teferi isn't answering it face up on board, this makes more sense. I can Prismatic Ending Baleful Strix and then attack Teferi next turn. We know Snapcaster's in hand. Okay, that is not the plan. They got something else going on. Maybe a second Strix. Oh, just Prismatic Ending. Yeah, that works too. Listening to Teferi. Ooh, my very own. My Teferi own. I'm gonna cycle this Timeless Dragon. I just really need a land drop here. Oh, my last plane's in the deck. Timely. I'm gonna try to exile Teferi. They can snap Force of Negation, which is fine. I need to get this Snapcaster out of the hand and get my like Teferi and Standstill going anyway. So like let's flush this out. Yep, Snap Force has occurred. Fair enough. They can spend their Teferi to pick Snapcaster Mage back up. I think that would make some sense. But I mean, Teferi is also really good. Ponder, good card. Oh, I'm gonna get him to my upkeep here. There's a pause. I don't like this. Oh, I'm gonna get Inquisitioned. Okay, sure. Also good. Inquisition's gonna take Teferi for sure. Oh wow, they took Standstill. Okay. With 5 damage on board and Teferi in play to bounce Standstill, I disagree strongly with that decision. But I'm glad I get to cast a Teferi. That's cool. Swords to Plowshare is one of these snaps. Or I guess I should do any bouncing I'm going to do first. Strix is the least horrible one for me to bounce, but they're all pretty bad. There are Red Blasts in my deck. I'm going to bounce the Strix and plow one of these. Alright, I'm losing Teferi here, and they get to draw more cards. It sucks to bounce anything out of the deck that's built to bounce its own spells with Teferi. Yep. Teferi picked up Snapcaster. They can Inquisition me in my draw step again. Kind of hope they do. Shark Typhoon does not respect that. They could Kolagon's Command get me Hellbent right now. Right, we just went straight to my turn. There's a Prismatic Ending in the graveyard that can answer Timeless Dragon, so I gotta just not do that. Just gonna pretend I have nothing and cycle Shark Typhoon. And they can snap Prismatic Ending Shark Typhoon, but I can at least get out of Kolagon's command range. I'm making a 3/3 Shark. Like, Snap Ending on this Shark that also draws a card is way better than Snap Ending on my Dragon that doesn't do anything. Okay, Snapcaster. Inquisition. Alright, so they're going to take my Ponder. They must have a different removal spell. It's like a Red Blast over there. Into Tarak, sure. Got me Hellbent. My hand was already not playable. Back to Teferi. Show me the Red Blast. Oh, no Red Blast. Genuinely surprised. Must have just another Teferi or something. I don't have any illusions that I'm doing well in this game. 5 cards in hand, like, unless they all are just bad removal spells that don't line up well, which I don't believe is the case. Yeah, just another Teferi. Teferi's pretty good against the token strategy. Leaving Strix back to defend the Teferi nest. And then I'm going to leave Shark back to defend me from Snapcaster. And hopefully nobody is able to attack, but they're a deck full of removal. Seems unlikely. All right. Yeah, Snap Pyroblast. This one's falling apart quickly. Discard spells tend to be a mirror breaker in blue v blue situations. And that has not changed here. Okay, I got 9 minutes left. They got 8 for game 3. I'm on the play. This was also the game where I missed my second land drop for 2 turns, and I win easily if I find it. So let's just find lands. It's a very big part of that last game, but we knew that going in. I had all my red blasts in, just only saw one of them. Hydroblast for their Pyroblasts is a play. Kolaghan's Command, it's that as well. Yeah, if I'm going to be getting hymned and an Inquisitioned, Force Will gets even worse because it can pick apart my blue spells and like force me to pitch a good one. That's a mess. Post-Lux Return's kind of interesting because they're the attacking deck here and I'm not. Well, I have creatures that are bigger than X2 and they don't. They might have Murktide Regent. Some builds of this do have Murktide at the top end and some don't. Do I want to just be off Force of Will? If that's the case, I could bring in Grafdigger's Cage, which stops Snapcaster, but also plays into Prismatic Ending and Kolaghan's Command, so probably not. Surgical Extracting to Fairy would actually shut down a lot of their engine. Or going after a clutch Snapcaster target. Do I think that's better than just having removal or another counterspell in? I'm on the play here. That means I'll probably be shoving Standstill into Pyroblast some amount of the time. Kind of like the one Surgical. They're doing enough graveyard stuff and have enough annoying spells that that's worth doing. If I can Surgical a Snapcaster, that'll be really hard to win. Okay, I'm going to keep this. And I'm going to Island and pass. If they leave up Red Blast, I'm going to wish I pondered. If they cast Inquisition, I'm going to be glad I held back. Oh, that's not Red Blast. Is a Spell Pierce? Like, what are you doing with that? All right, here. It is Spell Pierce. Okay. Wasn't sure if that was a card that was even in the list, but there it is. Got me good. But I am curving up into Teferi. Like that. There's the red mana. Don't like that. Another Standstill. Okay. I can Brainstorm here. I can Ponder. I think I want to Brainstorm. Because the Prismatic Ending isn't really where I want to be this early. And just found Pyroblast and Red, which were the two things that I was looking for off Brainstorm versus Ponder. Because Ponder could have found Pyroblast or Red. This finds both. I'm going to tuck Prismatic Ending and Plains on top of the deck and play my land. I can search up Plains in the end step if they don't do anything. I can Pyroblast if they do something. Okay, no respect. I hope I can punish. I'm going to get the Plateau, because that lets me untap and slam Teferi. And if they force this, that's a force they don't have for Teferi. Ooh. Big deal. Now the question is, do I ponder trying to hit my land drop, or do I just slam my Teferi? I'm going to slam my Teferi. I want to ponder to hit my land drop, but I also am like pretty worried about that. Force pitching EI. Okay, I'm going to stop in their draw step and extract Teferi. Oh, that gives them Snapcaster Spell Pierce. I'm just going to extract Teferi now. That's just a really important card in their deck, and I hope there's another one in the hand. Oh, we got it. Fairy in hand. EI is the last card there. It's a good one to have as your last card in hand, but I really did not want to play this game against Teferi again. All right, there's the expressive iteration. Hit Ponder, played the land from hand. Ponder can find a discard spell here. They can't cast him with what they got going on, and Inquisition only hits half my hand. Ponder would have worked last turn. Now we know. I am going to Ponder, because if I can spike a Standstill here, yeah. That is exactly what I'm looking for. They can't Reb, they can't Spell Pierce. They have to force if they're going to interact with this. Bang. Okay. Found the spot. My engine's online, theirs is not. And one of their engines is no longer in their deck. Expressive Iteration. I don't really want the cards on top of my deck. I'm going to fetch for Volcanic Island in response here and give myself a chance to hit a Red Blast. Alright, didn't work. It's fine. Give myself the chance. Found the second black. Hymn to Tarak is on now. They fetch that pretty quick. Yep. And Timeless Dragon in the graveyard. Don't mind that so much, I'll be honest. Jace and Prismatic Ending hit Timeless Dragon. I'm going to make you have it. Let's go. Prismatic Ending, okay. No follow-up Jace. All right, they're on reaction mode over there. Tundra, 4/4 Sharks incoming. I'm not going to cast a Shark Typhoon. People always ask, like, why don't you just cast it? Because their deck has Red Blast. Why would I do that? Okay. Nile Spellbomb. That breaks up Hall if I ever find Hall, but it doesn't really affect just what I'm doing here, executing on multiple Shark Typhoons. Counterspell, what's up? Showing up where it was supposed to. I'm not going to play any spells. I'm not going to brainstorm. Don't need to. They showed me they can't answer this Shark. At least not at instant speed. Prismatic Ending's fine. I'll just replace it. Another Nile Spellbomb. All right. Just going to replace that 4/4 Shark. I'm not going to spend a premium answer and Counterspell on something that is easily fixable. If they have to like spend a Pyroblast on this, it's cool. All right, using one of the spell bombs, trying to draw an answer. 2 Shark Typhoons gone. There's still one in my hand. All right, now we're gassing up pretty hard. Put you to 9. This is a 3-turn. Well, if I elbow tap, I can put lethal on board, but I think I'd rather hold up Counterspell. Hymn to Tarak. All right, I'm going to counter that. That's not a card I want to play against. Red Blast. I'm gonna Wandering Emperor or I'm gonna Brainstorm in response, actually. And I actually want Shark Typhoon, so I'm gonna fetch first, give up the shuffle on Brainstorm, because I want to hide Shark Typhoon on top of my deck, and cast Wandering Emperor right now. Yeah, so put back Ponder and Shark Typhoon. Play Wandering Emperor. And let you discard the Swords to Plowshares and Brainstorm. I'm just sprinting for the finish line right now. Did the 2-for-1 threat on top of my deck. Fetching in response to making the token. What is this? Snapcaster targeting what? Red Blast. Okay. Alright, so they're more scared of the Shark than they are of the Wandering Emperor, because they could have snapped Spell Pierce there and just didn't. I'm gonna push damage with this Samurai. I don't want my Emperor getting pressured by Snapcaster. I want that to not be a game piece. Let's see a YOLO draw a card with Nile Spellbomb and then die to the Shark Typhoon that I hit with Brainstorm. That's my plan. Brainstorm, pretty good. I know my top card is Ponder, so I'm not gonna like try to cycle into an answer to anything here. It's just not there. End step. Elbow tap. 5/5 Shark. Again, Ponder's my top card. I'm not trying to bluff anything by leaving mana up. We're just going in. And my opponent is at 5 life, which is the amount of life required to kill them with a 5/5. Ponder. Prismatic Ending, Timeless Dragon. I'll put Timeless Dragon in my hand. And I'm going to make a 2/2. Attack for 3 Vigilance. And I'm just going to cast this 5/5. I would understand an argument for Narset, don't let them dig out of it, but I have 3 lethal attackers. They don't have that much removal in the deck. They would need like Swords to Plowshares and 2 other removal spells here off of 1 card. And how good is this Brainstorm? You have to Brainstorm into EI into 2 removal spells and block. Dramatic Ending's on the top of my deck. Snapcaster, ending one of the 3/3 Samurai. Like, this is why I went with 5/5 Dragon, because you can't just exile that. And Prismatic Ending right here. I'm going to play with my food a little bit. Narset, if I find an ending. Oh, that's sick. All right, I'll go for the style points. Kozilek's Return. Splat. Good thing I found that. I definitely didn't have the game one anyway. GG's, that was a sick match. And we remain undefeated. On to the next one. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the play, in round number 3, my opponent, Dawson Creep, just said hi to their mom. Everyone say hi to Dawson's mom. Island Ponder, by the way, keeping it. My opponent with the strats of being friendly and wasting 30 seconds, acknowledging them before starting my turn. I'm going to need those 30 seconds if this is anything like last round. Opponent mulled to 5. I want to ponder and try to find Force of Will. Or Force of something. Come on, Force. Narset, Swords to Plowshares. These are not the cards I was looking for. I'm going to shuffle. Alright, shuffling was a sign of weakness. Hope that this is just an unlucky mull to 5 and not a you're dead mull to 5. Burden Catacombs. Oh, Elves. I would have really liked that Swords to Plowshares I just got rid of. Okay. It is a combo deck, but the one where removal's good. I'm going to Prismatic Ending this Nettle Sentinel. Just don't let you get anything going. Depending on how this turn goes, I can either play Shark Typhoon, try to ambush something in combat, or I can play Narset. I might want a Narset here. Ponder into Removal Spell is better than Narset, but if I don't find the removal spell, it's actually really bad. Okay, I'm going to Narset. And I am going to activate her. It would be hard for them to get 3 power onto the board next turn. Or 3 attacking power, like obviously the deck has power. I actually think I want Currency Converter here, because that just rips up any combat interaction. And I don't have sweepers in the main deck anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to try to brick up combat with Currency Converter. They can't Glimpse here, if Glimpse is even a thing that they do. Fired Symbiote. They could just... Oh, okay, they can't Cradle and Natural Order because there's only 1 card left. We're just going to put 2 damage on Narset. Good call. And last card in hand was land. All right. We are chilling here. Oh, that was a good one. 1 mana removal spell. I have to target Symbiote because Shepherd can just get bounced. Knock that out. Play my land. Play Currency Converter and pass the turn. Please don't draw Cradle. If they can activate Shepherd, I'm way behind. If they can't, I'm way ahead. That's my read on this situation right now. Natural Order is also a beating. Just attack with all your creatures. There's nothing to worry about in the Currency Converter. Don't even worry your little head. It's crazy the world we live in now. Hello Newton has done so much to elves that I'm not even sure if Glimpse is a card in their deck. Okay, respecting the Converter with a tenuous probe using only the least important cards. I am going to Plane Cycle here. Are going to make a Rogue. Are going to find a Plains. And I am going to lose Narset, but they're going to lose Heritage Druid. And I do think taking out Heritage Druid is better, because taking out Arbor makes Rejuvenator big. But I guess Rejuvenator can get big anyway. Maybe that doesn't matter. But generally, I like just taking Elves out of play of the Elves deck. Just makes sense to my childish brain. Ooh, they have Bojuka Bog in their deck, and they could cycle into it right now. I'm going to take this window to get my big dragon into play, which I think it makes sense, because I can also ponder. Swords of Plowshares, I would like to see that next turn. Yes, please. Okay, don't kill me right now, please, opponent. That is the request that I make to you. Very glad I have this Kozilek's Return on my sideboard, though. So they get to rotate, probably getting Cradle, and just don't draw Natural Order. How about that? You're tapping and untapping lands a lot. Okay, Shep's in play. They can pump the squad and attack for 15, but I can double block one of these creatures, and I'm pretty happy to get like most of these out of play. Yeah, I'm going to double block Birchwood Ranger. Oh, no, I'm going to double block Shepherd. Changing their mind. They're not sure if they want to attack or not. Okay, double block the Birch Lure. I lose my dragon, keep my rogue. I go to 10. Good call, keeping some of that back. Or, yeah, I would have liked to trade with Shepherd and then kill the other Shepherd. But not a thing that was available to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, if I plow now, yeah, that makes sense. All right, that stops the extra mana from Cradle. Maybe I should have gone for Dryad Arbor, but I would like to actually remove these Shepherds from play because my hand is multiple counterspells. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You can activate Shepherd here. I'm going to make a 1/1 Shark. Oh, wait. Is 2/2 Shark actually better? 1/1, 2, 2, 3, 3. If I make a 1/1 Shark, I could spike Swords to Plowshares. If I make a 2/2 Shark, I can block Shepherd and have a creature left over because it'll be a 5/5. I'm making a 2/2 Shark. If I draw any card other than Swords to Plowshares, this is the better play. Oh, right, and I knew Hall was on top. If I was paying attention, it was definitely the right play. Pile up on this jerk, and I'm going to go to 3 life and have a creature and a currency converter versus their whole everything. But the Shepherd will be out of play. Great, Swords of Plowshares. Let's go. All really good. Okay. I can play Hall, and I have to chump block for a turn, but then I'm in good shape. Do I counter this? I think I do. Yeah, I think I counter just basically anything. Yeah, that's 1 less damage they can deal to me this turn. And it doesn't affect my plan of putting Shark Typhoon on top of my deck. Force blocked here. They could have attacked with Dryad, or I guess they don't know that I don't have a card to discard. Yeah, that would have been a blowout if I did. A Shark Typhoon on top of the deck. Okay. Now we're cooking. I can't, or I can crack this fetch land. Yeah, I can. Okay. Because I'll have 2 blockers. I'll have the Shark and the Rogue. Play their land. They're not bluffing anything here. They might not even attack. Oh. What am I missing? Okay, no. I was right the first time. Okay, so if I Shark Typhoon leaving up the mana to Hall, then they can't blow me out with Bojuka Bog here. Yeah, I'm just going to make a responsible little 2/2 Shark. I'm going to tuck it under Currency Converter. And to draw a card. They can bog me. Oh, wait, no. If I plow, then they can't bog me. Yeah. Plow the Reclaimer. And then put the Shark in the graveyard. And now I can start recurring it like crazy. Cool. Pick up Shark Typhoon. I can counter Natural Order. I'm not going to attack this turn. I'll start attacking next turn. I don't want to get crazy here. I can counter Natural Order. I don't care about most creatures. End step, we get 2 more creatures and another card. Let's do it. Currency Converter. Amy. Standstill, that should shut it down. Then I'm actually going to take the turn off getting Shark Typhoon and reward it completely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to put a 5/5 dragon into play. And a Standstill. And should be pretty hard to lose from here. I guess if they draw Natural Order and Currency and Standstill doesn't draw me a blue card to go with Force, I could actually lose here. Please don't do that. How about that? Or if their hand is... Okay, I have the blue card. They have 1 card in hand. I'm not going to take this bait. I'm worried about Natural Order. I don't know. That could have been a fade. Or maybe I just messed up a very obvious line. But with 1 card in hand, it wasn't that scary. Wandering Emperor. I'm going to sort... Do I Swords to Plowshares? Do I even care? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can attack for 9 in the air. I think I want to ponder, see what's going on. Oh, okay. I'm gonna Put Wasteland on top of my deck. Wasteland this Gaia's Cradle. Swords to Plowshares this Dryad Arbor. And I can currency convert into another plow if I want it. I can Force of Negation. I can Wandering Emperor eating a creature. This is pretty solid here. And they are dead on board. Or Elvish Visionary, sure. That doesn't change any of the things I described already. And in the end step, I'm gonna deploy Wandering Emperor. Just for good measure. Make a 1/1 Vig. Or 2/2 Vig. And we did it. Taking in game 1 against Elves feels good. And obviously they mulled to 5 and I had a bunch of removal, but it still feels good. Kozilek's Return, Grafdigger's Cage. Deafening Silence doesn't affect them enough because most of their spells are creatures. Pyroblast doesn't matter. Hydroblast doesn't matter. Wear Tear is interesting because they frequently have Choke. It's just how many cards I want to board out. Force of Negation can come out. I'm usually on the fence about forces anyway, and with Counterspell in my deck, I'm extra interested. I don't think I want both Wear Tears. I'll just bring in one out of respect for Choke, because I have the Prismatic Endings too. The Fairy is not great. I mean, it's cool when you can flash in Supreme Verdict and you can just literally never lose on a turn, but that's whatever. Supreme Verdict is going to be good anyway, and I actually like all my standstills in the matchup. Like, I'm pretty fine just casting turn 2 standstill into like 2 or 3 power, because I'll stabilize against that. Maybe that's better on the play though, and on the draw I should bounce it. They don't really need both Wandering Emperors. Alright, yeah, I'll want to favor sweepers in early interaction, and then my top end barely matters. I just need to survive that long. No Swords to Plowshares in this hand, I don't like. I mean, I'm gonna keep it. I do have Ponder, I do have white mana, I have a threat, I'm not gonna get choked. I'll try this. And like, Force of Will isn't terrible, it's just like, you need to also have you need to have the Shepherd covered. But I'm just gonna pick off the early object, no matter what, pretty much. I'm not gonna counter that. I'm gonna Ponder here. I have basic planes, so I can tap out every turn and I'm still not going to lose to Choke. Narset is strong, but I think I'm going to want Ending before I want Narset. And they do sometimes have Thoughtseize, so I'm just going to put the land in the hand with the Ending under it and the Narset under that. Maybe I should bring in the basic Mountain versus Elves as well. Just giving Prismatic Vista the chance to cast Kozilek's Return is something that might be worth consideration. I'm just going to pass here. Could also Prismatic Ending this Visionary. Alright, I'm just going to get this thing out of play. If you're going to pass the turn without doing anything, what is this, Endurance? Is that what you're showing me right now? You're going to fetch Dryad Arbor and try to do a big turn next turn? Because if that's the case, then I also want to remove Visionary now, like if you were sandbagging Cradle. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're just in ugly mode over there. Okay, Allosaurus Shep is in the hand now, so these forces just got a lot worse. I'm probably going to want to shuffle away the Narset that's in on top of my deck. Oh. I will take this opportunity to punish the sequencing. I don't think it was like bad necessarily. It's just like, it's tough that your 1-drop makes the thing uncounterable, but the thing also benefits from you having your 1-drop still up. I don't think that was a bad play. I think it was kind of a forced play that got punished. It looks like they're rebuilding just fine. Yeah, I do need to shuffle away this Narset. That's not where this game is going. I'm going to get an island, because that's what I have to get off that particular land. Counterspell not helpful right now. Brainstorm. Hold GDC. Yeah, you know me. Put back Counterspell, and if I get choked here, it'd be pretty embarrassing. But I might need these Brainstorms. Alright. I gotta play like they don't have choke. Plane Cycle, get Plateau. I'll at least get that set up, and put this Grafdigger's Cage into play. No Zenith, no Natural Order, but 3, 4, 5, 6. They can't just bash me for 10 right now. I'm gonna need a sweeper. Oh, you just have hoof in hand. That is lethal. Exacxies? Oh, no, you have one extra. All right, cool. That works. Yeah, that's why Elves is such a tough matchup. Is the Shepherd's always looming, and then like the go wide, even if you like stuff the combo, you still have to present something on board or you die to the creatures, and then sometimes you just cast a lethal creature. A bunch of powerful things. I don't think my sideboard plan changes here. I'm just going in. Grafdigger's Cage into Standstill. I'm going to keep this. Plateau, Cage, Let's Party. No Dryad Arbors this game, which is like the #1 thing that they can do to mess with you under Standstill. Ranger Danger. Not that much danger, all things considered, though. And follow up with Standstill. They're just going to have to let me draw 3 cards because I make Timeless Dragon under this, and you're behind. Anything you do here that doesn't advance your board just gives me more time to set up, find my sweepers. Bam, Standstill. And there it is, just have to crack it. There is no choice. Thoughtseize. This is going to take Ponder, probably. Because Ponder is the thing that can find me removal here, unless they're worried about Narset. If they have a Glimpse hand, they probably have to take Narset. I guess that means they have a good card either way. But Ponder is the one that can result in Swords to Plowshares this turn and clear what they're doing. Yep, tuck the Ponder. Symbiote. Yeah. Okay. Basic Plains. And Symbiote is still good, but that means I don't get to clear the Shepherd, which is what I wanted. But the Shepherd would have a hard time killing me from here, I think. Without Natural Order available. I think there's 1 Plains left in my deck. I've just naturally drawn almost all of them here. A Dryad Arbor from hand. All right. How about Kozilek's Return? Deck. Hook a brother up. Standstill. I still beat that unless they have Cradle, which is not a game not a game of chicken I want to engage in. So I'm going to play my Narset here. Wait, is Narset better than just Dragoning up? I am actually just going to Dragon up. Because they would need Cradle, activate Shepherd. I don't care about Natural Order or Zenith. I don't care about 1/1s or 2/2s. I'm a little worried about 5/5s. But just playing Narset onto this board where she might miss and like then I don't get to do anything feels pretty bad. And then she just dies to the 1/1s. I'd rather put a 4/4 between my opponent and my Narset, if possible. Second Shepherd. All right, they're going in deep here. All right, no Cradle. No Cradle, no problem. Kozilek's Return. Kozilek's Return. All right, Narset. I will play Narset and find Currency Converter. Not super interested in that, I gotta be honest. There's 2 Shepherds in play. How much mana do they have? 1, 2, not that much. All right, I'll take Currency Converter for future considerations and then play the Standstill. Standstill might be risky here. Oh, they can't draw cards anyway with Narset in play, and they didn't play Cradle last turn when they had really good attacks, so this Standstill might bite me, but we'll see. All right, just immediately, fuck it, here you go. All right, there's the return. If they find Cradle right now, I am in some trouble, and this is a lot of looks at it. Oh no, maybe I did want the... Oh no, I can't force it anyway, it doesn't matter. 5, 10, yeah, I'm just fucking dead. All right, well played. Kozilek's Return showed up 1 turn too late. Yep, just dead. Elves, terrible matchup. Kozilek's Return in here for this reason. They just easily won the game around Grafdigger's Cage and Interaction. Yep, GG's. Yeah, you really can't just like fart around for too long because Cradle's in there somewhere. And it was 1 turn away, but that 1 turn did it. GG's, opponent. On to the next round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. Okay, I got an Island Ponder Keep on the draw in round 4. Also lost a die roll, so not at risk of winning 5 die rolls in a row again. I did that yesterday on the channel, and it tanked my complaint equity. Opponent mulled to 6. Let's see what they're up to. A basic island and a preordain. All right, I'm smelling a combo deck. Bottom, bottom. Basic island, bottom, bottom. I'm going to need a land to get off the ground here, but a single land between my 2 draw steps and ponder here, get Timeless Dragon, and we're just ripping. Well, gotta shuffle this. Okay, no worries. Were you worried? I wasn't. Ponder, fetch land, ponder. Oh, giving Days a little respect, but you probably just lead on fetch land anyway. Did not shuffle. Plateau, get in there. As much as I would like to get currency converter onto the board, I think I need to cycle for my land this turn. Cracking their Scalding Tarn, Volcanic Island. This smells like show and tell to me. Bottom, bottom, the preordain. All right, they have 3 mana now, which is the requisite amount of mana to put show and tell on the stack. I'm gonna go get a Tundra and play Tundra and currency converter. At least put up some sort of resistance here. Their 6-card hand has to have show and tell, monster, force, blue card. Lotus Petal. All right, their 4-card hand has to do those things now. Oh, is this like Epic Gamble? No, that doesn't have all these cantrips in it. Is this some like Echo deck? Oh no, it is just Sneak Attack. All right, I'm gonna force this thing. And that was the move for this turn. I'm gonna Plane Cycle Timeless Dragon, put it under the cash register, and get a Plains. And I'm gonna hire a Rogue. There it is. Begin the beatdowns. Counterspell, once again, being awesome. I didn't play my basic Plains, which gave up information for no reason. Like, my Counterspell, I already had blue. I don't need a 3rd blue for anything in my hand. Yeah, I just gave up information for no reason. But from 3 cards in hand, it's really hard to have A plus B plus Disruption. I'm just going to slam in Wandering Emperor here. If they have Hardcast Force of Will, that's a force they don't have when I try to kill them. Or when I try to stop their counterspell, or their combo next. It's like Hardcast Days here is whatever as well. Yeah, sure. It's a force you don't have when I try to stop you next. Also, it's 2 damage from Ancient Tomb when I'm beaten down relentlessly. Shark Typhoon, pretty much the best draw. Because I was not going to Eternalize Timeless Dragon and tap myself out of Counterspell. My plan was probably just play land and loot away the Swords of Plowshares, but now Shark Typhoon puts 5 power on the board out of nowhere here. And draws a card. In the end step, make a 3/3 Shark and a 2/2 Rogue. Oh, something's happening. Is this like intuition in response? Or just float. Take 2 damage and concede the game. Fair enough. I respect the play. They cracked their fetch on their turn, then floated 2 mana off Ancient Tomb just to die faster. Rise and grind, gamers. Okay, that Containment Priest that I cut for the second Hydroblast would be great here, but Hydroblast also plays here, so I'm not too upset about it. Prismatic Ending. Surgical's always on the fence against show and tell. Like, if you survive the first one, you get really good targets, but if you don't survive the first one, it doesn't help you survive the first one. A little push and pull there. I like all of my threats. I like my Planeswalkers. I like my Counterspells. I like my Standstills. Even Wasteland is fine. There's 2 red sources. They're not going to mess with my mana base in any way except give me more red sources. Like, they might have Blood Moon. That's not even good. I don't like the spot removal because that's playing to, like, what if Grizzlebrand's in play? And I'd rather just stop that thing from being in play. How about that? How about we do it that way? Sandbagging your Wasteland for Boseiju, the original Boseiju, who shelters all, is part of playing this matchup. Deafening Silence can help you win a counter war, but have all this other stuff. Wear Terror hits Blood Moon, Defense Grid, and a Resolve Sneak Attack, so all of those are... That's why I'm bringing those in. I gotta make one more cut here. I'm not cutting a blue card. I like Currency Converter. I think it's just Wandering Emperor. But Wandering Emperor also kills Emrakul and Grizzlebrand if one does get into play. Timeless Dragon's too good. Alright, maybe I am cutting a Standstill here. Or, no, I'm only bringing in one Surgical Extraction. That's what I'm doing. You don't, like, want Surgical in your opener. You just want access to Surgical if you survive the first wave of their combo. And then it's like a thing you can dig for to hamstring the rest of their game plan. This isn't Reanimator, where you just like, hell yeah, Surgical, keep. It's just something to find when it's correct to do so. This is a wall of counter magic. I'm going to keep it. It did not lead on Beseiju. That's good news. They led on Ponder. Good start. Respected. Did not shuffle. Standstill. What's up? I have a turn 2 play now. Good news, everybody. This is a deck, kind of interestingly, that might actually like the Standstill. Like, if I start missing land drops and they don't, they're sculpting and I'm not, which is always an area of concern when Standstill is involved. I do have Shark Typhoon, but these Planeswalkers aren't going to help if Standstill's in play. And if you cast Standstill at 7 cards in hand, which is where I'll be next turn, they could just like Brainstorm in the end step, make you draw 3 cards, and you immediately discard 3 of them to hand size. Well, I mean, I'm gassed up to do this, so it's going to happen. I'm going to get Island and Plateau to get all my colors covered. And play Standstill. I kind of hope they fight over this. Give me an excuse to force will, get my hand a little soft. Yeah, you force, I force. I think Narset's better than Teferi, and Shark Typhoon's better than both of them. Pretty cool. They spent a force pitching a show and tell. That was a big one. Like, Pyroblast would have been annoying there, Daze would have been annoying there, but I'm just ecstatic to see a Force of Will pitching a relevant win the game card. Drawing land is great. Now I get to cycle Shark Typhoon, move the game forward without having to tap out on my turn to cycle Timeless Dragon. The Shark doesn't look like much, but it's swimming. We're doing something here. As long as we're doing something under Standstill, life is good. And finding Hall is pretty exciting as well. Now my opponent can decide if they want to play against Shark Typhoon every turn or just break my Standstill for me. I have 1 Counterspell already. I have blue mana and red mana. If Standstill breaks, I'm live for either one of my blasts. The actual Counterspells are in the deck still. They do nothing. I'm just putting Shark Typhoon on top of my deck. If I didn't have a land drop, I would cycle the Shark instead. But I do, so I'm going to go with Shark Typhoon. Just get increasingly larger sharks. Play my land, attack for 1. Once I make this 3/3 shark this turn, assuming they do nothing again, I'm going to stop recouping it for a while, because bearing down for 4 a turn, they're on a 4-turn clock, and I'd rather just draw more cards, make sure I don't die, than make an additional 3/3 to cut a turn off the clock. I also have Timeless Dragon if I want to really put my foot on the gas. But I think just having more cards, more land drops is a good place to be. Back for 3. I could just drop Timeless Dragon into play now, but I don't want to. I think having my mana up, if they make a move, like me having force and... Alright, I have 2 forces. I'm going to let this Brainstorm resolve. I don't think that's my fight. And in the end step, they just put me up to exactly 7 cards in hand. Don't even have to discard. So they got to get through 2 forces. Which, I mean, they can totally do. Don't get me wrong. Ponder, you got it. But they didn't fetch after the Brainstorm or before the Ponder. They just like every card they're looking at right now. That's scary. Or I feared for nothing. Curious. That seems like an early concession, but I'll take it. On to the final round. I'm on the play in the final round against Dan Neely, who is a known Mox Diamond enthusiast. I'm going to keep this hand. In the go-to Mox Diamond deck right now is Green-White Depths, and Swords to Plowshares and a bunch of basic land drops are good there. We'll see what he's actually doing. Might be on some Chalice version, or might just juke me out and not be doing anything like that at all, but we'll see. But Savannah, I'm shocked. Okay, Savannah, go. I am actually a little shocked about that. Swords to Plowshares, back me up here. Let's see what's going on. I'm not going to get impatient about anything. I'm going to hit my land drops and develop my answers. Ooh, Savannah Mazavith. That is not a strong start. I'm actually going to cycle Timeless Dragon here and get Tundra and just jam Narset. If you're going to give me 2 turns doing nothing, I'm going to resolve a Planeswalker. Ooh, that's a good Planeswalker, but I think Narset's a better one. Like, the things I'd be worried about here is like crop rotation, turning Mazavith into a real land, and I think I would force a crop rotation. Just no way, Jose. Another Narset, a Brainstorm, and an Ending. I'm going to take the Brainstorm, because opponent hasn't put anything into play yet, and I have 2 answers to things that are in play, but I just said I'm going to force crop rotation if it happens. Wow, I don't know what just happened. Dan is a really strong player. This wasn't just like a bad keep. Shit didn't get there. Like, there was some sort of plan here that was not executed based on what I was doing, and maybe I'm so far ahead now that he's just conceding to hide information. This is weird. But okay. Savannah Mazavith confirmed. Some sort of lands-based strategy. I want Wear Tears. He's going to have Sylvan Library. He's going to have Chokes. Supreme Verdict may or may not be good. Probably is, though. Kozilek's Return is worse than Supreme Verdict, but also might be good. Force and Negation, I'm not super interested in. This is another great Counterspell matchup. Counterspell's just been great. I'm in on that. I'm a believer. I've convinced myself. The hardest audience of all. Fairy's not super huge in these matchups. He's an extra layer against non-creature permanents that also is like fine against creatures. But I want 2 Force of Wills remaining, just some protection against random BS. I didn't see if it's a Zenith deck where Grafdigger's Cage would be good. Gotta imagine it is though, right? I'm gonna preempt that one and bring in the Grafdigger's Cage. I didn't see any specific hits for that, but they're probably in there. Good chance this is a Minsk and Boo deck too. Oh, I almost missed that angle. We didn't see red, but most of these decks are on a red splash, and Minsk is a really good reason to be doing that. I have 2 forces, 2 counterspells. I don't want to bring in Hydroblast against green-white depths. I'm going to make him show me the Minsk before I do that. Do I want Narset? There's 1 card left here. Narset, yeah, on the draw, Narset's kind of a clunker. I love Wandering Emperor, though. All right, all my removals in. A respectful amount of counter magic is in. Let's do this thing. This hand is not good, and I will not keep it. If it had a basic planes or access to one, I'd be in, even if it was Timeless Dragon, but not like this. That's more like it. I'm going to keep this, and I think that Shark Typhoon is a later problem, though I could just get rid of Tundra, and I can fetch basic planes, play basic island, fetch basic planes, search for plateau if I even care. I'm actually going to send the Tundra. All right, let's go. Wooded Foothills. Hinting at a red splash. Wink, wink. Zenith confirmed. Okay. I'm going to ponder. I can answer a choke cleanly next turn. These are not the cards I'm looking for. I'm looking for spot removal to get into the mid game. Turn 2 Knight of the Reliquary here would demand some brainstorming for an answer. A Prismatic Vista is live for that, or a Prismatic Ending is live for that. Got 2 of them though. How about some removal deck? Brainstorm, save me. Okay, there's a lot of removal. I'm going to put back the 2nd basic planes and the 2nd basic island. This lets me plow now and set up Supreme Verdict for 2 turns out. And crop rotate into Merit Lage here. Outland Liberator, sure. That's cool, I guess. I can fetch basic planes this turn and skip having to draw the one that's on top of my deck. I think that makes sense. I don't really want it, and I can access it, but that also is my red if I need to destroy an artifact, but I don't think I need to do that. Yeah, I'm playing the Flooded Strand. And I'm not casting a spell. It's going to become nighttime for Liberator. But I don't have any artifacts or enchantments in play anyway. See how many of these attack, because Dryad Arbor and Elvish Reclaimer do other things too. Alright, I can cycle Timeless Dragon. Or I'm gonna cycle Shark Typhoon, which may seem like a weird decision, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, but I am worried about Merit Lage here. The crop rotation is a problem, and I would like to have Merit Lage answered before I just tap out into being dead. So I might not have a choice here. Like, if I Supreme Verdict and he has crop rotation, I lose. I guess I lose to crop rotation anyway, because Reclaimer's in play, and he can crop rotate in the end step, make Merit Lage, untap, make the Sujiri step. Yeah, this doesn't matter. I'm just going to attack. Maybe I can bait an Endurance into the Supreme Verdict here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm dead if you got it. Supreme Verdict. Okay, activating Reclaimer is fine. Sacking the Dryad Arbor, turning it into a real land, maybe even the Dark Depths. But I prefer that to the crop rotation killing me now. Yeah, identifying that I was dead anyway there is going to save me a lot of damage. Like, don't play around things you can't play around, and figure out if you can play around it. Important lesson there. Because we can see how that would go wrong, but it would have gone wrong anyway. And then if they don't crop rotate in the end step, I just look like a dingus. And the most important thing about playing Magic is not looking like a dingus. Okay, I can cast Timeless Dragon, put it in front of the Merit Lage this turn if I don't come up with Swords to Plowshares or Karakas or something. Sujiri Step's going to get me pretty much no matter what. Alright, I don't care about Choke. I have the Wear Tear for that. We had a plan. Unfortunately, I still can't stand still, but this gives me another turn to find an answer to Merit Lage. I don't believe they play any way to protect the Choke from Wear Tear. Like, there's no blacksmith skill in this deck or some shit. Sujiri Step can't target non-creatures. Maybe I should have played Plateau in case they just go with like Sylvan Library here and I need to come up with a different plan. I'd love if you just play Chalice of the Void though. Okay, that's not a Chalice of the Void. Night of the Reliquary. Totally different thing. You weren't even listening to me. Take out the Choke. And I think I should cycle Dragon. Though putting Dragon into play as a 5/5, but the Sujiri Step is just on board now. What is gonna... Oh, there are planes left in my deck. Both of the Tundras are still alive, so... Alright. I'll get Tundra now. Another Wear Tear is not what I wanted. But I can Timeless Dragon up here. Dark Depths is one of the decks that can actually beat you under standstill, and we are experiencing that now. Just a bunch of dead cards in my hand. But Dan is a good player and is going to respect the fact that I'm a Swords to Plowshares deck. And we'll see if I can buy some time off of that I wouldn't get otherwise. Alright, no longer has to respect it. I can die immediately. Though, there is a fun thing happening here where if he makes Dark Depths and then goes for just a Sujiri Step to punch through, and then I Swords to Plowshares, the land as Shroud, and I can block. Alright, now I have two different color blockers. That's cool. Yeah, I'm just going to pass here. Karakas is in my deck, though Sylvan Safekeeper is really hard to beat for white decks. Let's see what we want to do here. Going for the Depths. I imagine he's not gonna try to punch with the step, just gonna play it slow and attack me. Unless he can also remove the Timeless Dragon. Like, Prismatic Ending backed up by Sujiri Step is enough here. Uh-oh. There it is. Sujiri Step's in there somewhere. I'm gonna make a 1/1 Shark. It doesn't need to be any bigger. This is where I died of Punishing Fire. Alright, Swords of Plowshares off the top. Should probably just step now if you're gonna step. Or if you're respecting Swords of Plowshares, then you just, like, let my 1/1 die. Alright, yeah, just letting the 1/1 die. Good call. Found another Typhoon. I can cycle again in the end step, put another blocker in front of this thing, and try to develop from there. This time I will make a 2/2 because it's just all my mana anyway. Our set, okay. She does stuff. Currency Converter may or may not do stuff. Narset, get in there. Activate. Prismatic Ending and Brainstorm. Prismatic Ending is the type of thing I'm looking for, but Brainstorm, like, I'm just not beating Prismatic Ending on board. So let me Brainstorm and try to find some additional action. Let's change my hand significantly instead of insignificantly. Put back Standstill and Wear Tear. And I can't counterspell anyway, so might as well put Currency Converter into play. Okay. I'm going to pass the turn with a 2/2 Shark. And now I can make the play where if he goes for Sagiri Step to punch through, I can Plow in response, and then if he gives it Shroud in response, then Sagiri Step fizzles. Didn't activate Knight in the end step. That's interesting. Wasteland is like fine. Is wasting me better than having extra Shrouds though? Doesn't seem like it. I'm gonna float blue. Mess with them. I already have the white elsewhere. Prismatic Ending. Okay. I'm definitely gonna die now. Okay. Got me good. The counterspell would have actually been great here, but instead I am dead. Plowing now with this blue floating. Maybe I should have floated white, but it doesn't matter. You just go all in here and kill me. You can protect your Merit Lage 4 times on board. Yeah, this just doesn't matter. All right, GG. I am defeated. Yeah, you lose to these decks when your cards don't line up, and finding the Standstill after you already had Merit Lage in play, and then the second Wear Tear. The first one was good. It's just, you know, you got to balance this stuff out somewhere. Is Teferi better than I gave it credit for? If so, what am I cutting? I mean, Standstill can just completely backfire. I have Caracas in my deck, but if I like turn 2 Standstill and opponent has turn 1 Elvish Reclaimer, they can just set up Dark Depths on turn 4 underneath my Standstill, and I only have Caracas to really mess with that. This hand is soft to Wasteland, but only kinda. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna plateau Currency Converter. That way, if I get wasted, I still have Tundra to ponder for more lands. Maybe on the play, I'm just supposed to ponder first. Get my removal spell set up. Yeah, okay. I talked myself into that one. Let's try to find the lands in the removal. There's lands. It's not removal. It is more good stuff under with Converter. I don't think I can shuffle away this land. Okay. So I won't. I'll put that in my hand and pass the turn. I can answer a choke. I can answer a Sylvan Library. Thing I'm soft to is creatures. Let's see another Savannah Maze of Ith hand and then concede. I want to see more of that. I knew I was drawing that. There should be no surprises here. I'm going to play Island and Currency Converter. Let's get that in. The game only gets better with that around. Elvish Reclaimer. Okay. And passing the turn. I hate that Reclaimer is just going to be in play, but this is the ponder that I kept. And Wandering Emperor can exile Reclaimer that gets active in my next end step. Like, it's your turn now, and then I cycle Timeless Dragon, get land number 4, play land number 4, and then, like, in the end step, you activate Reclaimer, and I eat it. They're all things that could happen. Also just, like, Bajuka Bog now, but that doesn't even seem good. All right, end of turn, I'm going to cycle Timeless Dragon. It gets exiled. I get my planes. I'm going to get a basic. It's time to start respecting the chokes and wastelands in the deck. And I'll make a 2/2. It can attack profitably on this board, so I'm interested. Here's the planes, and I'm going to attack. In we go. Now, maybe I shouldn't have attacked. No, I'm still going to attack. Like, if Dryad Arbor Can clear the Wandering Emperor. All right, didn't even activate. Not interested. Playing super slow. Knows about what cards are in my deck. That's cheating. Don't expect an attack here. Not into all my Typhoons and stuff. End step. I'm going for a... I am going to go for the 2/2 Shark. If Merit Lage all comes together right now, it's not going to matter how big the Shark is, but if it doesn't, I'm going to wish it was bigger. Okay, rotating, probably going to bog me here, unless you're just moving your squad forward. All right, that's fine. I acknowledge that possibility. You got it. Still get a 2/2 and draw a card. 2 creature, draw a card. And found Swords to Plowshares. That was a really good one. That means I can Wandering Emperor, and if you crop rotate, I can still kill your creature. All right, I'm just going for the minus here. I'd rather have Plow in my hand than Wandering Emperor. There's Sujiri Step. I'm going to fetch another basic. I'm going to let him commit the Sujiri Step to the board first. Like, let the crop rotation resolve. Don't let him know that it's not going to work anyway. All right. That plan worked. Let's see what the follow-up is. Is there a second Dryad Arbor in this list? I don't think so. I think Zenith decks usually play 1, Elves plays 2. If there is one, they can clear my Emperor, but I don't think there is one. And the 2/2 Shark already paying out. That's an extra damage I wouldn't have had. Clock's significantly faster with the extra power in play. Can answer a choke. I have 3 lands that don't even get choked. There it is. Okay. Oh no. Okay, go to my turn. I will make my flying creature bigger. +1/+1 and first strike if you don't mind. And then attack for 5. I don't need to kill choke now. My lands won't magically untap. I'll save it for the end step. And he might play a second choke, at which point then I have to come up with a different plan or think about what I'm going to do here. There's a Thespian Stage. All right. Knight of the Reliquary. Okay. That represents depths. The turn after next. End step, I'm going to wear Tear. Or just wear, or just Tear. What is this? Tear? Tear, yes. Okay, tear that up. And I'm going to make a 1/1 Shark and a 2/2 Rogue in the end step. I'm looking for Swords to Plowshares and Karakas and Prismatic Endings. Like, if I can clear this Knight, we're going to be able to push pretty hard. Just trying to get my engine operational. Fetching in response. Okay. We're going to... No, crop rotation. Oh, there's a Yavimaya in play. So we're going to crop rotate, make Dark Depths right now? What's going on? We're destroying my currency converter right now? Oh, just endurancing. Stuffing the Rogue trigger at least. All right, sure. I don't get a Rogue. So go to 1/1 and a card. 1/1 and card. That's a good card. Prismatic Ending, then... Oh. This is actually tricky now. I can make one of the Sharks bigger than Endurance. That's actually pretty good. +1/+1, the Shark. It's already a 3/3. That's bigger than Endurance. Let's bash with that. And if they don't block, this is lethal next turn. Prismatic Ending. Red, blue. Oh, I could tap red, white, green this thing. And then I'm playing around choke. Well, Naya mana. No chokes here. Play the Volcanic Island. I can convert, looting away the Prismatic Vista if I don't like it. Just gotta avoid like natural dark depths from hand, or crop rotation also gets me here. But then I have to dance around a Merit Lage with 2 blockers and a card selection engine online. Second Night. I guess I should loot now because it's possible I hit Counterspell. Okay, hit Prismatic Ending. I'll take my treasure off of the Prismatic Vista. Little Prismatic Tribal deck here. Alright, please don't also have Dark Depths as your last card in hand. That's the request I make of you now. Attacking with Endurance is interesting because... Oh, I guess you just can't do that because you're just fucking dead. I was gonna say, because you're dead to a removal spell, but you're dead to the onboard sharks. So there's definitely not an attack with endurance here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, nice. I can prismatic ending the knight. White, green, red. Prismatic ending. I guess I should have just gone after endurance. What am I even doing here? I'm just showboating. I was so excited because the treasure can pay for... Yeah, just miss lethal. The treasure can cast Force of Will is what I'm trying to spit out. And I was like, yeah, now I can't lose. And it just like literally had the protected win on board. All right, I'm going to attack with everything. There's a forced block on the 4/4. Made this harder than it needed to be, but here we go. Oh, do you have Punishing Fire? Oh, Red Blast. Okay. I will make a treasure. Then Force of Will. Yep, I would have won if I had targeted endurance. Dumbass. Okay. Opponent, please draw something that kills me. I deserve to lose after that one. Do need to top deck something. Merit Lage is not good enough. Knight's not good enough. Choke doesn't matter. I'm trying to think of one card that even matters here. Can't crack your fetch land, but you don't really need to because Yavimaya in play. I don't know what the out is here, but I gave him an extra turn at 1 life that I didn't need to. And we got the GGs in the chat. Okay. Got so excited that I could remove Knight of the Reliquary that I forgot to mention or forgot to notice that my opponent was dead on board, even though I literally just said dead to my flyers if they attack with endurance. Just the synapses did not connect in time, but got away with it. I wasn't sure what the draw was to get out of there, but didn't find it. Okay, Sharkstill. That was a 4-1, and many of the games were pretty clean. The Elves deck found Gaia's Cradle on the same turn that we found Kozilek's Return, and that was the difference between the 5-0. Like if that Once Upon a Time missed on Cradle, we win that match and we're holding a trophy, but I also kept a hand that didn't have a whole lot of removal in it, so that's what that is. Counterspell was a Rockstar. Standstill and Hall of Heliod were Rockstars. Just that early round, I forget if it was round 1 or 2, against Check Pile, where they resolved Jace on turn 4 and it never went away, and then they conceded on turn 13 because we had Standstill and versus Jace. That was awesome. That was just like the power of what this deck is doing. You're going way over the top of the other control decks, and you have kind of a singular focus to just be alive versus the creature decks with all these plows and prismatic endings, and you put a bunch of bodies into play with the converter and the dragon and the shark. Like this checks a lot of good boxes in the legacy format right now. I would consider show and tell and elves to be the and like post decks, like green post or whatever. That's probably the worst matchup, and I'm not willing to dedicate any sideboard to it because those sideboard cards don't apply anywhere else, so I'm just not really interested. But the show and tell and elves are the two matchups I would say are the worst, and we played against both of them and we beat one of them and we were a turn behind beating the other. So you can build your deck targeting the things you're concerned about and be rewarded for that. Like, I like where this is. I think Saga is a trap, and I really like Counterspell. It came up every single round and it was solid every single round. And there was even spots where it didn't come up, but it would have been the one, like in that last round where I was like, I guess I can loot into Counterspell here. Like having that live out on a single card for 2 mana is really nice. I'm going to leave this right here. I'm very happy with the direction this deck is going. I got a legacy tournament this weekend and then a big regional one coming up in a couple weeks. I will have this on my short list. This is good shit. Jeremy, thanks for giving me the space to explore this on the channel with your Dealer's Choice League. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links, the Patreon, the Coalesce Apparel, Moxfield, all that stuff that supports the channel. It's down there. Go click on it. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.